Hey guys, welcome back to Mobius Electric. I'm Edwin, and this is our 1-year impression of the Ownboard Carbon AT. So going over the specs of the Ownboard Carbon AT, the board has a 40-inch carbon fiber deck with a matte finish. It has a 10S 4P 14 amp hour Sanyo battery, 6-inch honeycomb airless tires with aluminum hubs, 1,500 watt dual motor setup with a total added power of 3,000 watt, and it has 2 double kingpin trucks for maximum carb. The board comes with a custom hobby wing ESC specially designed for this board, which allows it to hit a maximum speed of 25 miles per hour with insane torque and acceleration.
So acceleration on the Carbon AT, it's actually really strong. Get a lot of instant torque. We got this remote. Ooh, there's a car right in front of me. So one of the nice things about the Ownboard Carbon AT is the fact that, like any other board, you can use different mounts on the trucks. So an example of the mount I have on this board right now is a GoPro mount and also a shred light mount. One of the questions we get a lot is, how is the RALDEY Carbon AT and the Ownboard Carbon AT both similar and different? So in my opinion, both boards are really amazing. The Ownboard Carbon AT has a bit less top speed but a lot more instant torque. And the RALDEY Carbon AT has more speed but less torque. Both boards are great. Ownboard uses the traditional remote. It comes with most hobby wing ESCs, while the RALDEY Carbon AT is more unique with a more of a slider type remote, and it has a screen on it. So about a brake right here. The braking is really responsive, really strong. Didn't have that much distance to stop, but did a great job. Another great thing about the Ownboard Carbon AT is the quality of the mounts. The mounts on this board are machined to precision. They're really nice and really responsive. The pulleys are also really high quality, so you won't experience things like belt slippage just from the quality of the board and the pulleys. Ownboard really puts into consideration the quality of these boards so that the users can have a nice ride. As you can see, not the fastest speed, but it is still very controllable and very comfortable for the average rider. Max speed is around 25 miles per hour. If you're lucky and if you're a lighter rider, you may be able to get faster speeds. I weigh around 130 pounds, and right now I'm maxing probably around 25 miles per hour on the highest mode. So, trucks on this board. This board sports a double kingpin truck like many other Chinese boards with AT wheels. The new Wago AT has double kingpin trucks, so does the RALDEY and the Ownboard. A lot of riders dislike the double kingpin trucks because of the fact that they're so sensitive to carving and leaning. But in my opinion, double kingpin trucks are not that bad. You can tighten them a ton and they still give you really good response and really good turning, really tight turning. But like how they're designed, they're not meant for high speeds. Those are usually for single bushings. Another thing I noticed while riding is that the Ownboard Carbon AT is pretty silent. You can't really hear it. The RALDEY Carbon AT is probably the sound that you guys are hearing. And yeah, the Ownboard Carbon AT is silent, it's efficient, and it looks really sleek. So a lot of you guys might be wondering, what about the 6-inch tires? They're not pneumatic, they're airless, and they have this honeycomb type design with holes in the wheels that let it so that the the wheels can absorb a lot of shock. Braking here. As you can see, the braking is really nice, really controllable, really soft. So as a RALDEY Carbon AT rider myself, my RALDEY Carbon AT maxes around 27 to 28 miles per hour, which at this point of riding over 300 miles, I've gotten used to it, so I really want another board that can pursue my speed needs. You guys didn't know we're based in New York, but not in New York City like most of you might be thinking New York when you hear New York. So we're actually based in Long Island, New York, which is more suburban, more space, more land, so it is still busy, but not as busy as the city. So the deck shape, this board is made out of carbon fiber, and it really helps to lock in your feet. It has a slight concave. Let me get onto this driveway right here. It has a really nice concave to keep your feet locked in, so it never really feels like you're gonna fall off, or even when there's a big bump, when your feet just move, you always feel like you're stable on the board. It's really high quality carbon fiber. It has a matte finish, so scratches, dust, stuff like that doesn't really pronounce itself onto the deck. These 6-inch wheels really eat up all the bumps on the sidewalk, all the cracks. And it's really helpful for a nice, controllable, comforting ride. On the road, it's even better on clean asphalt, smooth asphalt, so much more smooth and comfortable. You can carve all you want on the street. You don't even feel anything. No vibrations, nothing. Feels like you're on a regular longboard. So this is the remote. It says Ownboard on it. It's the basic hobby ring ESC. Your reverse, your forward, your battery, connection, remote battery, speed modes, all that. If you guys want to look at the deck. So there are the wheels. This is the GoPro / shed light mount I was talking about. Also over here, you can see the rear mounted motors. They're really powerful, 1,500 watts each, so 3,000 watts of power in total. So even on poor asphalt, this board does really well. The honeycomb airless tires really eat up all of the cracks and bumps. Okay, so an off-roading session. So this will test out the 6-inch tires. I would say they're all-terrain, but mostly should be used for the street, so like urban, and maybe a little bit of off-roading. There are still little bumps that you can definitely feel. Unlike regular pneumatic tires where you can change the PSI depending on what terrain you're in, these wheels really do everything. I mean, they might eat up a bit of more power from the actual battery, but the ride is a lot smoother and a lot more subtle, really mellow. So here's an off-road session. Some carving. One thing you want to note about riding off-road is the battery life. I would suggest riding off-road if you have a lot of leeway with battery. So let's say you're above 50% battery. Currently, I think I'm about 70%, so this is fine. But keep in mind that riding off-road eats up your battery, like eats up your battery more than anything else. Now going on some urban. I can't emphasize how soft and subtle these wheels are. It almost feels as if you're riding on just air or water. It's so fluid. You can carve with them. They're so grippy. Like this board, all the parts of the board, the wheels, the deck, the motors, the battery, were all made to complement each other. So right now we have the Ownboard Carbon AT, which is actually has a lot more torque than the RALDEY. So a lot of people on our old videos, they used to comment, what's the main difference between the Ownboard Carbon AT and the RALDEY Carbon AT? The main difference, I would say, besides the look and the actual parts of the board, is the fact that the Ownboard Carbon AT has a lot more torque than the RALDEY Carbon AT. That's mainly due to the wheel different sizes. So RALDEY has around 8 to 9 inches for their wheel, while the Ownboard has around 6 inches for their wheel. So right now we're going to be doing a drag race between the RALDEY, as you guys can hear, and the Ownboard, which sounds really different, mainly due to the ESC difference. This is going to be around 30 meters or so, maybe 20 meters. Not that fast, but we're going to back up right now. I'll count it off. 3, 2, 1, go. So as you guys saw, Ownboard is clearly the winner. I kind of saw that coming already. It's just that Ownboard has so much power and so much torque. Can't really be beaten by anything. So you rode the Ownboard, right?
Yeah.
So what are your thoughts on it compared to what you're riding right now?
The RALDEY has like an insane amount of torque, but then when I got on the Ownboard, it just flew. Like there's no better way to explain it. It felt like there was a jet strapped onto the back of it. Like seriously.
So the reason why the Ownboard is so great is I think it's because of the wheels. So it's able to deliver, but with these wheels, it really compensates everything well together. It really grips onto the asphalt and the road and the grass, the field. And it really allows you to feel comfortable while riding and really basically push this board to its max. The Ownboard's wheels are really big, but they don't really stick up on top of the deck that much. So you won't really get your feet caught, and especially if you have these shed light mounts, you don't even have to worry about that because you'll get stopped by the mount before your feet touch the wheels. But on the RALDEY, the wheels are so big, they just pop up on top of the deck. And even though they have these wings, they don't really help that much. So you guys always have to be careful. Oh yeah, also, the deck itself is lifted up even when it's upside down, so it can just ride itself like that. Okay guys, so I changed the camera orientation. You guys are now on my helmet. Give you guys more of a POV type shot to see what I'm looking at, what I'm noticing. I'm still on the Ownboard. Matt's on my RALDEY, and Shio is on the DIY 45-mile-an-hour board. So one of the things I want to point out is the fact that this board does not have a kick-on feature, so you actually have to like bend down and turn it on. So power button is down here. As you guys can see, we're on like 2 bars out of 4. So let's start riding. Some impressions after a year. I'd say I put around 300 miles on this board. And so far, almost 0 maintenance necessary. I've tightened the belts once, but because the mount, the pulley, the motor cover, since they're all high quality aluminum, you really don't need to worry about any type of maintenance. Eventually, however, I assume that the wheels will wear down to the point where I will need new wheels, but some of the wheels I want to test out are the cloud wheels, especially the 120 millimeter or the 105 millimeter size. I feel like putting the cloud wheels on this board would be nice because although these wheels are really smooth and really made for this board, having cloud wheels would give me a lower center of gravity and I don't know, it's kind of a new experience. I've used the MBS 100mm wheels before on previous boards. Didn't really like it, which is why the main reason why I switched to all-terrain wheels, because the cracks were just unbearable. I'm telling you guys, all these cracks, all these potholes, these wheels just help absorb all the shock, and it just leans into the turn as if it's effortless. So maybe an overall? So overall, this board is amazing. It has the right deck, has the right battery, has the right motors. All the parts chosen were really just made for each other. I mean, there's not a flaw that I can point out on this deck, maybe besides the top speed. But for most riders, 25 miles per hour is plenty. Personally, I prefer more on the 30 to 35 miles per hour top speed. But for everyday riding, this board is really nice. The trucks allow you to carve really well. The deck is really solid, really helps you lock in your feet. And the wheels are just something you will always want to keep